Heart to Heart is where real stories meet real connection. Hosted by Diaz, founder of Heartful Living, this podcast opens the door to honest, unfiltered conversations about life's most meaningful and sometimes messy chapters. From personal journeys of resilience and healing to experiences with love, loss, family, and finding purpose, Heart to Heart is a space for the stories that deserve to be heard. Every episode is rooted in authenticity, empathy, and the belief that when we share our stories, we remind each other we're not alone. Join the conversation because the best talks always come from the heart. Hi, everybody, and welcome to a really special Heart to Heart episode. It's really more a mini-sode because we're going to rush to dinner right after this. But we had to take the opportunity while we're here in Avilés, Spain, because just the series of events that have led to this moment to find out that Ana and I are related through Danny have been just awesome. Yes. And we wanted to document it. And the fact that Ana was one of my very first conversations on Heart to Heart when it was still in the foundations.
Baby podcast
at the time. And I'm so grateful that you did that for me.
Absolutely.
You know, I go way back with Ana. We go back to high school. We never knew these connections. No. And the fact that we have come all the way across the water, the ocean, to find out that we're related, it was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
Godsidence. So without further ado, I want to reintroduce Ana Cristina Cash to our show. And you guys may remember her. We interviewed her. She is a country singer in Nashville, Tennessee, with Miami Cuban roots.
That's right.
Married to, I would say, what Nashville royalty are they? to the Cash family. And here she is in Avilés, Spain. And I found her through Instagram.
Yes, it's the craziest thing. So I'd posted, I think, a video or something, a photo of me in Avilés, and she messaged me, DM'd me. She's like, Ana, what are you doing in Avilés? We're here. I'm like, well, I'm visiting my family. We're visiting our family. It's like Danny's family in Avilés. I'm like, wait a second. So we got in a group chat. We started talking. We met up, and we're like, how is this connected? Are we cousins? Are we related? And it turns out, yes, that we are. And it's through a lady named Adelaida. Adelaida, yes.
So at this point, I should say that I was not prepared to interview anybody on this vacation of mine. I only have 2 microphones today, so I'm actually going to pass it over to Danny, who's the one that really made the connection while we were on a drive.
He's the one that really knows how we're related.
Yeah.
It's funny. Well, hi, everybody. So Avilés, Asturias, is the third largest city in Asturias, which is a state, if you will, in northern Spain. And our connection here is through my father, who was born in Cuba, to descendants, obviously, of this area. And his maternal grandfather and his brothers had come to Cuba from this area at the turn of the century. And they have a name for them here, the Asturianos that would leave Asturias seeking their fortune, their opportunity in the New World, in the Americas, and they call them Indianos. And so those people that were from this area, not just Avilés, but other cities and towns from the area, they would go to Mexico, Cuba, and Argentina primarily, and start businesses. And, traditional, aspirational immigrant story. They'd start their businesses and be very enterprising and built very successful, businesses, and always with a look back to this area. And they came and bought property and built homes. And the homes that they built here, they're identified as casas de indianos. And there's a symbolic palm tree planted in front of their homes, representing obviously their roots to Cuba and the islands. So that's kind of our connection here. And we've been coming here for a long time. My father leaves Cuba in December of 1960. And the family business then was textiles. They had a distribution business where they imported textiles, distributed them all over the island. Then they manufactured clothing, textiles, uniforms for the military. And then they had a store called La Isla de Cuba in La Habana. And that business was nationalized at the beginning of the revolution. Obviously, it provoked our family coming back here. So my dad actually moved here in 1960 and spent, his formative years here. So obviously our roots are very, very closely tied to this place. And so we were talking about these things. And since I had been here a lot.
When I saw the picture of Ana, and Ana told me she has family here, I go, well, there has to be a connection because there's only 10 Cubans in Avilés, so there has to be some sort of connection.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And how was the connection made? I forgot. We were in the car.
Well, just like he was explaining his family history and everything about his father and everything in his family here, it's the same story. Turn of the century. My great-grandmother and great-grandfather, both from the area, Melania, my great-grandmother, Rafael, are distant cousins, right? But not close cousins. Clearly, they married, but in Cuba, my great, I think it was Melania's aunt Paola and Rafael. They brought Melania to Cuba, and it was the steamships at the time. It was like a 2-week trip. It was very dangerous. People got sick at the time.
Sure.
So these were huge sacrifices that were made, like in my family and Danny's family, and we're family, so in our families.
Right.
Now, so essentially they got married in Cuba, stayed there. They started a farm. They had their own business and everything. And we just started chatting about how we were possibly related. So I believe it's through Paola, who is related to Adelaida. Is that correct? And Tony. It's Paola, Adelaida, and Tony are the ways that we're related.
Yeah.
Those three.
Yeah. So there's so my great grandfather Rafael Suarez Rodriguez, his older brother Primitivo Suarez Rodriguez was married to Nena. Adelaida Garcia Perez, and
which is your great
it's a layer up, right? So because Adelaida's father is Antonio Garcia.
Yes.
And then he had sisters, and that sister is Paula. And
yes, who was the aunt that adopted my great-grandmother because her parents died. She was an orphan, essentially. Just very sad. She became orphaned at a young age, and they took her in, but it was a blood relation, so it wasn't like an adopted relation, So essentially they were family by blood, and that's how we're connected by blood.
Yep.
And he's my cousin.
And the crazy coincidence that my father-in-law was raised by his grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
Just like your side of the family. I mean,
Yep.
the continued coincidences are just eerie at this point when we're piecing everything together. The first things she tells me is that, she's going to go take a look at paperwork at San Nicolás Barri, which is the local church here, and that you had to go somewhere de la Luz.
Yes, La Virgen de la Luz. So we got to go, apparently what I was told by my cousin Rafael Garcia that's here, he's a lovely man, and also Jose Alfredo Garcia, is that most of our family went to church there. So most of the baptisms, like the weddings, of course, like all of this area, there's so many churches to choose from, but I think that was the one that they were parishioners at. So I got to visit, and I felt like just this beautiful feeling come over me that I felt like I've been there before, like I'm connected to this place. And John felt it too, my husband. And just a beautiful stone church on the inside, the Virgin Mary with the, the shawl, what do you say, robe? What's it called?
Velo.
The
veil.
Yeah. And just a very simple church, not huge, but very, very special and very old from what I imagine. I don't know the exact history of how old it is, but there's so much history here in Avilés. It's a medieval town, gorgeous if you have not been. There's so much to do, so much to see. The food is amazing. And just, I've always connected with my Cuban side. And I visited Avilés for the first time when I was 15 years old with my parents. They brought me when I was 15. But I had not come since until like 4 years ago, essentially with my husband and with my own children. And just being back here, really spending time with the family. And they visited me in the States as well. We just realized we're so connected. And I'm just as proud to be Cuban as I am to be Spanish as well. So I think it's just very special to come back. And I feel like everywhere you turn here, and just all of Asturias, really, all of it, there's something new to learn. It's really surprising, just like everywhere we've been over time. It's just like so special.
Right. And the other eerie coincidence about De La Luz is we went to La Iglesia de la Luz, and Danny will share that one of his relatives was the one that dressed the Virgin veil.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that church has a long history with the family, and it was kind of the focal point for that area.
Mm-hmm.
And I've come to appreciate it a lot more on this trip because I've had a little bit more time to kind of explore where the family was really originally from. And this whole area, the distances are pretty significant, right?
Yeah.
And obviously today we take for granted that we have highways and roads, and back then they didn't. They'd have to either walk
Horse and
or
buggy.
horse and buggy, right? And
Right.
so, to get to these places, and there's hills and mountains, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
on top of just like, hey, it's, a couple miles away, but a couple miles in, altitude and like no
Right.
roads, it wasn't easy to get around. So, that's why there was a lot of churches. And then this church in particular, I came to find out that my great grandfather had been baptized there. And, La Virgen de la Luz has symbolism in expectant mothers and mothers in childbirth and those who have passed in childbirth. And unfortunately, my great grandfather's daughter, my grandmother, my father's mother, passed in childbirth, giving birth to my father when she was 18 years old in Havana. And, obviously, again, he was a devout, Catholic to that virgin, obviously before any of this stuff happened. And on one of his many trips returning from the island to Asturias, because they were in the textile business, he came back with a veil in velour, I guess. What's the
Velvet?
Excuse me.
Velvet.
Terciopelo is
Yeah.
what it is in Spanish. I don't
Yeah.
even know what it is in English anymore. Anyway, it was a beautiful piece that was delivered to the church and has been hanging with the Virgin since then, saying the 1920s. So it's a pretty special church for us.
At Heartful Living, I believe in building a community, not just a brand. The partners we feature aren't just sponsors, they're part of our tribe. Kindred spirits who walk alongside us in this journey of intentional and joy-filled living. From soulful products to meaningful missions, each one is aligned in both heart and purpose. These partnerships are about more than collaboration. They're about connection. And if you're a brand, a creator, or a business who shares our values, we'd love to hear from you. Let's create something beautiful together. Visit us at heartfulliving.com to connect and become part of the Heartful Living story.
2 degrees of separation in croqueta. I say it all the time, and now it's
Yes.
literal.
Now it's literal, and it's amazing because I've known you both for like over 20 years. Like I went to high school with you, and just through friends we met like years ago, and then I left Miami, and then we're like connected, and from the same community, and we had to come all the way to Spain to find out that we're related, and it's just amazing. It's just such a small world,
So
and
small.
I just can't explain the feeling that I get when I'm here. I'm just really happy to be here. It's almost like being home. It is like being home in many ways. If you think about the sacrifices that our families have made to make a better life for themselves. I think you explained that very well the other day, just how, it's very rural back then. The roads, not much going on essentially.
Right.
And to be specific, La Ermita de la Virgen de la Luz was in Villa Alegre. And I know that that's where my great-grandmother and great-grandfather were from pretty much. I know my great-grandfather, Rafael, was born in Trasona, and Melania somewhere in Avilés, who knows, like pretty much Villa Alegre. So, it's very, very special.
I'm sure if we continue digging,
We need to continue digging.
we will.
Yes.
Yes. So interestingly enough, Danny and I did extra digging, Sherlock Holmes and Watson type stuff. The other day, we went to the cemetery in search of his great-grandmother, who we actually could not find.
And you found some of my relatives too.
But we're a whole corner in the cemetery. We're all together. It's crazy. I turned around and there's your family, Garcia just standing right in front of me.
Garcia y Garcia, because there were Garcias that married each other. Anyways, that's why Garcia y Garcia. That's what they do in Spain. They add on last names. Like there's no tomorrow.
Right.
So yeah.
So we're just going to keep digging. Anna also has family in the Canary Islands, and I have family in the Canary Islands.
So who knows? Maybe there's more to
We're going to start
to
unraveling
unfold.
that as well. But Anna, it's been so amazing getting to spend time with you here of all places.
We're having so much fun together. This is great.
Yes, and we miss her sister. Her sister already took off to the airport.
My sister Marissa was just here with her daughter Abigail, who's getting married in December in Miami, and we're having a great time. My daughter Grace is in camp here in Avilés, and so much is spoken about also from her father's side. Really, like John's father was Johnny Cash, June Carter, and everything. But I always tell them, you're Latina. You have Spanish, you have Cuban. Like there are all these other things that are a part of your life. That kind of trying to turn my kids into well-rounded people, essentially, and just explain all of the history on all sides.
And I love that you said that, because that goes
Yes.
for our children as well.
Yeah.
We're very much instilling in them, you're Cuban, but you're also Spaniard.
You are, yes,
Right?
yes.
So I'm so glad that you're immersing your children and doing this as young as they are.
As you both are as well, and your children are lovely. I got to see them today.
Likewise.
So they're great.
Well, we're only just starting this family reunion because we've already committed to seeing each other again back in the States.
They can't get rid of me. I've told them.
And vice versa. So, coincidences keep happening. And your daughter, Grace, is born on September 11th, and your birthday,
Danny's
is
birthday.
September 11th.
So they're going to come visit us in Nashville and watch us on the Grand Ole Opry.
We're so
And
excited.
it's going to be so fun. And we can
thrilled.
celebrate you and Grace.
Thank you. Well, I'm thrilled to do that. I'm a big country music fan.
Good.
And been always wanting to go to the Grand Ole Opry, so it'll be a treat.
And I told you I've never been to Nashville.
Oh,
and
my
so
gosh.
and you promised me a trip to the Cash Cabin, so we're gonna make it
Yes,
finally happen.
We're going to do that and so much more. We're going to have dinner. We're going to take you around. It's going to be amazing.
So exciting.
Yes.
So
Very
the next
excited.
time you see us all together, we're going to be in Nashville, Tennessee. But for now, we are going to take off and go to dinner because all we do while we're out here is eat.
Well, there's also Miami. I can see you guys in Miami anytime. I'm there back and forth all the time.
So it's funny because your husband is also a sea hunter boatman like me.
He is, yes. And
And
you're an
so-
adventure man.
And
You
I'm an
are.
outdoorsman just like your husband, so
It's
there's
just
going
like
to be a
that.
lot more to
Scary.
do together for sure. It's exciting.
Well, we're going to take off now and go to dinner because I just asked my husband if the restaurant we're going to is on Cuban time, and he
Mhm.
says that they're not. So
My cousins are always on time
Yeah.
here.
yes, because dinners do take 3 hours long, so
Yeah,
we
they
have
do.
to get there at time.
And they start late. Usually the sweet spot's about 9 p.m., 9:30, I've learned. And it's very sociable and people are communicating and they're really connecting here, which is so special.
Thank you so much, both of you, for taking time out of our schedules to do this. This was wonderful.
Our schedules of eating every day.
Yeah, we're going to go eat again.
It's
That's
amazing.
all we have for now. Thank you for joining us today in this impromptu episode of Heartful Living Heart to Heart podcast. Bye, everybody.
Heart to Heart is where real stories meet real connection. Hosted by Christy Diaz, founder of Heartful Living. This podcast opens the door to honest, unfiltered conversations about life's most meaningful and sometimes messy chapters. From personal journeys of resilience and healing to experiences with love, loss, family, and finding purpose, Heart to Heart is a space for the stories that deserve to be heard. Every episode is rooted in authenticity, empathy, and the belief that when we share our stories, we remind each other we're not alone. Join the conversation because the best talks always come from the heart.